Dear all, I would like to welcome you all in the lecture series of Environmental Protection and Management. In this session, let me discuss the second part of previous year question paper discussion. I have already discussed question number up to 4B. Today, we are going to discuss the remaining 3 questions. Moving on to the discussion, from module 3, these are the questions which are repeated. Number 1, 5A. Enumerate the benefits and barriers in implementing ISO 14001 in an organization. The allotted mark is 10 marks. At least you have to maintain 2 pages with clear highlighting the points. You are expected to add the following points. Moving on to the answer key of 5A. So you can see the benefits and barriers of implementing ISO 14001. Regarding the benefits, the allotted marks is 5. So in benefits of this particular program, you have to mention the minimization of environmental impact, increasing the competitiveness of the particular organization in the market, consumers aware about environmental issue. Then minimization of wastage. Consumer will get an awareness about minimizing the wastage. Then they will also get an idea about why the impact of pollution, what are the major reasons for pollution. Definitely, they will be getting a responsibility to minimize the pollution prevention. And definitely, it will attract new customers. Then increase the overall efficiency. Employee morale will be increased. Moreover, employee will feel that they are working for not only company, but they are contributing something for the society. They are having a positive thought to serve the environmental as well. Next, public image. Suppose I'm the owner of one company. I'm developing a new project on environmental minimization technique. Definitely, uh, people will think positive on me. Okay, they will think that I'm doing good for environment. Definitely, it will attract a new customers. Fine. Definitely, ethical values also will be improved. So, benefits you have to speak about the company point of view as well as the customer point of view. So, both are getting benefited. Even overall society will be getting benefited. So, you have to explain by your own words. Try to add these points. But there are hurdles, there are barriers like fear of unknown. Suppose we are adding a new process in a company. Definitely, initially people will oppose. There will be initial opposition. That is quite common. Then you have to give the awareness. Similarly, lack of resources to do the implementation related to environmental activity in a company. Resources are required, but if resources are not there in terms of human resource, finance, etc., definitely that will give the negative impact. Similarly, lack of technical expertise to implement a particular action or particular activity. For example, development of catalytic converter in the automobiles. If mechanical people are not there, mechanical experts are not there, how they will install? Fine. Then installation of solar panel on the building. So if people are not know how to install solar panel, how to connect to the grid, then how to do this kind of activity? Lack of direction. So from the top management, there should be proper guidelines. There should be proper hierarchy. If hierarchy is not there, the process will not be taken place for. Moreover, fear of failure. So it may be some investment. Definitely, management may worry about will the fund utilize properly or not. Is there what will happen if the process will not be successfully completed? Then there will be a lot of conflicts among different hierarchy, maybe from top management to middle management to lower management, then operation. So there are different hierarchies available, will be existing in a company. So these are the barriers. So please explain in brief about benefits and barriers within 2 pages with highlighting these points. In management subject, you have to write everything in your own sentences with the suitable examples, case studies, etc. That gives more weightage. Explain EMS and EAMS. It carries the weightage of 10 marks. So EMS, if you write properly, you'll get 5 marks. Rest of the 5 will be allocated for EMAS. Let us discuss about EMS first. What is EMS? First, you write the elaboration of EMS. EMS is nothing but environmental management system. So EMS is a set of processes and practices that enable an organization to reduce its environmental impact and increase its operating efficiency. That is the definition for EMS. If you cannot remember the definition, don't worry, write your own sentences. Moreover, the EMS comprises of the following steps. First one is commitment of policy. Okay, policy creation from the top management, planning, proper planning. Okay, then execution. Planning should be executed. What are the steps? Strategy for executing the plan. Later, after execution, then evaluation process. So making the actual plan and desired plan. Comparing actual and desired, you'll be getting the difference. Okay, then you will come to know that whether the process are going in a forward direction or reverse direction. Afterwards, review from the top management. If the things are going on, it will be implemented. So this is the overall diagram of EMS. So the ultimate goal is to go for continuous improvement. If you can draw this flow chart or this kind of process diagram, definitely that will give more weightage. In spite of writing hundred of lines, if you draw this particular flow diagram or this kind of flow chart, we can say flow chart, definitely that will attract the evaluators. Kindly follow up these kind of diagrams. Okay, try to add more diagrams and representation. So I have explained commitment and policy, planning, implementation, evaluation, review, and highlighted each points. You can pause the video and note down the important points if necessary. Otherwise, you try to add by your own sentences. There is no worry about that. 100% that is the right manner. Management subject, no? Because for the management subject, your own sentences with the case study example, that is most important rather than by cutting a simple fact and producing. Fine. But don't leave these kind of points. This has to be highlighted. I think you are getting my point. Let me continue. Next is EAMS. EAMS is developed by European Union, one of the association of European Union. The elaboration is EU, European Union, Eco Management and Audit Scheme. What is the definition of EAMS? It is a premium management instrument developed by the European Commission for companies and other organizations to evaluate, report, and improve the environmental performance. It is one of the instruments or standard to check evaluating, reporting, and improving the environmental performance. It is open to every type of organization eager to improve the environmental performance. Those who are interested, they can implement. Definitely, if they implement, company will be getting the particular standard. Okay, like EAMS, you can highlight the following points. Number one, performance, credibility, transparency. Try to add these points in your answer book. Please note that these 3 points are quite important if you are mentioning about EAMS. Performance, credibility, transparency. So you can check the right tool to improve their environmental performance. What are the tools employed for improving the performance? Adoption of software or any other policies or any other strategy for improving the performance. Next, credibility. A third party monitoring is generally called credibility. They will come to your institution and saying that your performance is good. Credibility. Next is all the process should be documented and transparent. It should be published somewhere else. So proper transparency. Data should be shared with the third party. Fine. Data should be available to everybody. It should be available in the company website. Suppose if a company is following EAMS policy, what are the policy they formed? What are the previous auditing report? Everything should be displayed in their website. These things has to be added. So these 3 points can be explained by your own words. So this is regarding 5B. Now let us go for another question. Yes. So let us move on to 6A. Write an explanatory note on initial environmental review. Short form is IER. Then management review, MR. 10 marks. Each carries 5 marks. 6A. Let us discuss 6A. Okay. Yeah. So please look at 6A. All right. So you have to speak about initial environmental review. Mention that it is the first step of environmental management system. So business consider all the factors affecting the relationship with respect to the environmental impact. So how to add different type of programs? What are the programs will be added? What are the impact if the program is added? What could be the improvement if the program will be added? Then mention different type of EMS documentation, different standards. Okay, for example, quantify the emissions, discharge of water to the water bodies, materials, utility, etc. Then find out the opportunity of performance of the process and minimization of waste. Evaluate the previous emergency situations and accident history. Then after implementation of the EMS, what about the accident rate? Everything has to be compared. Develop your environmental policy. These are the fundamental steps which will be followed in the IER, Initial Environmental Review. It's a first process. First process means mainly planning and comparing the historical data. That is a major thing which are involved in IER. Try to elaborate these points in your own sentences. Moving on to another point, management review. So after IER, process will be implemented in a company. So after 1 or 2 years, what it will happen? Top management is going to evaluate whether the program, whether the process met the actual requirement or expected requirement or not actual requirement, whether the standard or expected requirement. So in the management review, it's a final assessment, final element of environmental management system, EMS. Formal evaluation by the top management, then checking the policy, whether the process is fine or not. If the process is successful, definitely it will be really implemented for permanently. Then the following members will be conducting the review, like the site director will be there, management representatives, and line managers, operational managers, and if any represent from the employee side, all will be conducting the meeting. Then environmental performance will be progressively evaluated. Just checking the policy, then by comparing the comparing the result, they are going to check. For example, 2 years back, this much of CO2 emission. After implementing the EMS program, CO2 emission will be compared with the previous data. Then we'll say that top management will say that there are certain improvement. Definitely, this policy can be implemented for the next stage. And moreover, then water discharge, wastewater discharge, sewage water discharge. So just check how much amount of litter is eliminated to the water bodies before 2 years. Right now, what is the stance? Then if the things are reduced, definitely the planning, the same process will be continued in the forthcoming years. So that we can say the company can say that they have achieved something and make the documentation and upload in their website. And they can say that they are following the environmental policy. Okay, like that you can write management review. This is IER from the initial stage, management review from the later stage. So, okay, these are the 2 important points you have to explain. 5 marks. Okay. So next question. Let us move on to another question. 6B, write a note on environmental aspects and impacts with organizational setup. It carries the weightage of 10 marks. Okay. Environmental aspects and impact within the organization setup. It carries the weightage of 10 marks. Each one, if you write some points on environmental aspects, you'll be getting 5 marks. Remaining marks will be distributed for impacts. Okay, let us move on to 6B. Yes, 6B. So first, let us discuss the definition of environmental aspect. So definition, it will be like this. An environmental aspect is described by using one of the standard like BS, EN, ISO 14001. Element of an organization activities, products, or services that interact with the environment from the life cycle perspectives. So identifying the environmental aspects should be taken into account, whether the particular activity, services, product, etc. will be influencing the following activity. Number 1, air emission, effluent discharge, waste arising, land contamination, and emission. All those things you can mention. Moreover, the following aspects also be considered for improvement of the environmental performance activity. Number 1, modifying the product design, minimization of plastics, packaging. The packaging in Amazon company you must have seen right now. They are using paper instead of plastic. That is called improvement in the packaging. Then performance also, checking the performance. Then use land usages, land usages. Okay. So cleaning the area where the more plastic disposal happen and utilizing that particular area for plantation. Those things can be categorized into environmental aspects. It carries the weightage of 5 marks. Next is environmental impact. In case of environmental impact, it is better to write the definition. Change to the environment, whether the advice or beneficial, wholly or partially resulting from the organization's environmental aspects. After the policy, the top management check whether the activities are progressing good or not. After taking a certain lifespan, maybe 2 or 3 years, they are going to compare with the current performance with the previous performance after implementing the environmental activity. Then based on that, they are going to decide the things are going in a positive manner or not. So same manner. Impact means what after a certain year, what happened? Impact. Okay. Now, the impact can be evaluated by checking the life cycle approach. Okay, life cycle approach. Then checking the raw materials, energy consumption, checking the previous and present electricity bill, land degradation, then emission of air. Okay, emission of air, water discharge, all the data are required. Then only we can compare, no? Then only we can check the impact. Then on-site activity process, cleaning, storage, everything will be followed. This is regarding 6B. Okay. So if you want, you can explain with the help of few examples. Like, for example, generation of electricity from coal, fossil fuel. So what are the major aspects for a coal extraction is required? Then emission of acidic gases such as NO2, nitrogen dioxide, emission of carbon dioxide. These are the aspects. What will be the impact? Because of extraction of coal, the resources, fossil fuel is getting depleted. Availability of energy resources comes down, it will be coming down. Then creation of photochemical ozone, which affects the plant and animal. Greenhouse effect, greenhouse effect, depletion of ozone layer. That will be happening after the discharge of NO2, nitrogen dioxide. Emission of carbon dioxide, climate change is happening. If I talk about another type, generation by using wind power station. The major component of wind power station is wind turbine. So if I talk about the aspects regarding the wind turbine installation, zero emission during the generation. That is 200%. It's a renewable energy source. Location on the hill station where the wind availability around 20 kmph should be minimum requirement. Okay, wind speed should be minimum 20 kmph. And wind data has to be collected by using the anemometer. Similarly, noise when the turbines are moving, that will be happening. Noise operation. What are the impact? Let us see. First, due to the aspects of zero emission during the generation, reduction in the climate. That is one of the impact. Second aspect is location on the hill. Visual impact. Visual impact will the aesthetic view and the loss of the view. All those things will be lost. The naturality will be lost. The noise when the turbines are moving, definitely noise pollution. So these are called aspects and the impact. One activity we can call it as an aspects. Then what will be the side effect, or that is called impact. Like that you can elaborate. Now I would like to discuss the 7A. 1 minute. Please focus. Question number 7A and B. 7A. Write the process flow diagram for management of an audit program as per ISO 19011. Remember this question. It carries 12 marks. Okay, 12 marks. Then you have to elaborate more, maybe 2.5 to 3 pages. You can manage it. Then enumerate the contents of environmental statement form 5. These are the two questions. Now directly I'll be moving on to my presentation. Okay. First question, the 7A was write the process flow diagram for management of an audit program as per ISO 19011. Then enumerate the contents of environmental statement form 5. So these are the question. Now let me directly move on to the 7A. Let me directly share the screen and let me move on to 7A. Just a moment. Yes. So the question was, Process flow diagram for the management of an audit program as per ISO 19011. You are advised to draw the diagram, the flow chart for the pictorial representation for this ISO 9011 activity. So like first one is first one is defining the program objective, first step. Second step is completing the audits needed. Third one is reviewing the results and process. Okay, all are comes under ISO 19011 guidelines. So you have to define it. What is the importance of ISO 19011? It can be defined as the standard that sets forth guidelines for auditing management systems. This standard implies the guidance on managing an audit program, the principles of auditing, the evaluation of individuals responsible for managing the audit program. You can write your own sentences. It includes, it's just like an auditing standard. It gives an evaluation criteria. Based on the evaluating criteria, we can check our policies are going in a better manner or not. Like that, you can frame your own sentences. Mainly for, it's like a reviewing standard. ISO 1900 will be a reviewing standard. Okay, for review, we are doing, if you want to do a activity review, definitely we should have a standard, no? Okay, so every activity, if you want to do a review, as a reviewer, what they will do? Suppose you are writing a paper or you are reviewing a journal paper, what you will do? Check the quality of the paper, plagiarism, right? Check the technical content and the flow, how they arranged it, like that. Okay, nothing new in that. Now you have to define the program objective. So give the brief definition. Okay, you can write the definition of the program. What is the importance of ISO 19001 that you have to define. Later, what you are supposed to do is what are the process involved. I mentioned, no, first one is defining the program, then completing the audits needed, then reviewing the results and progress. Like that, you have to explain the process step by step. Completing the audits needed. What is auditing? What is the impact of checking the previous information and the present data? Okay, now checking the document, collecting the information, making the interview. It may be external auditing or internal auditing. Like that, you can proceed further. Reviewing the results and progress. That you have to explain. What is review? What is the purpose of review? Okay, what are the set of procedure we have to consider? Checking the amount of CO2 emission. Give us some examples. So that will be okay. Similarly, you can elaborate. So first one, defining the program means how you give an example, simple example. Okay, installation of green building, replacing the conventional building with the green building. Okay, then energy efficient lighting, energy efficient motors, installation of energy efficient motor. What is one of that is one of the objective. Then now how you can able to define installation of energy efficient motor, energy efficient building, green building. Okay, then completing the audits needed. Now, a performance of the energy efficient building for 2 years, checking the electricity bill, mainly electricity bill, comparing with the present electricity bill with the electricity bill which is happened 2 years back, saying that this much of energy has been saved, this much of amount has been saved, right? This much of electricity has given to the grid. All those things you can mention. Example is important. Reviewing the results and progress. After that, preparing the report, detailed report, then uploading the data in the website. Fine. Then possible uh, green building means it is related to electricity board. You have to convince with the electricity board and you have to give the letter, all the procedure that is called a review. And management will appreciate the employees, all those things. Fine. So you try to explain in that manner. Fine. Question number 7B. Enumerate the contents of environmental statement form 5. It's very, very important question. Okay. It carries the weightage of 8 marks. Here, what is that you are supposed to say? Standard form. You need to mention like there are the environmental statement form comprises of different annexer, like from it start from part A and ends to part I. There are 9 segments which are involved. It covers the basic information about company, company address, location of the company, what is the industry, is it a small scale industry, large scale industry, medium scale industry, the production which is involved in the company, then the last whether the company has been developed environmental activity, have they added EMS program, whether if they added, what is the last date of auditing happened. All the things you have to elaborate in briefly. But there are different forms also you have to remember. For your information, I am telling. So explain with the different points in part A. What are the part A? Includes name of the company, address, operation process, then production category, year of establishment of the company, date of beginning of this EMS program, when the last auditing happened. All the overview should be added in part A. In part B, what kind of raw material, what kind of processing has been happened, like annealing, hardening, tempering. If it is a metallurgical industry, annealing, hardening, tempering. Okay. If it is like uh, if it is just like a power generation, how many solar panel installed, then calculation of total energy consumed per day, what is an average energy availability of solar irradiance, temperature, everything. All the things you have to mention in part B. Process, mainly for technical process. Part C comprises of what are the pollutants, contaminants. Talk about contaminants, quantity of pollutant discharge, what is the concentration, mass per volume, density. It will be expressed in terms of density, percentage of variation from the prescribed standard. There is a standard value. Okay. For example, 0.5 meter, 0.5 kilo, 0.5 kilogram per liter or something like that. Okay, kilogram per meter cube, 0.5 kilogram per, that's a standard. If it is deviating from the standard, we'll come to know from the table, part C. That is pollution discharge to the environment. Part D comprises of details about hazardous waste. What are the hazardous waste which are eliminating from the company organization, like from the process, what is the quantity, from the facility, what are the quantity. Like that, you prepare the format. This format is very important. In the part E, they are mainly talking about solid waste. What are the varieties of solid waste? How much quantities which is eliminated during the financial year, for example, 2021 to 2022, 2022, 2023. Like that, you have to mention. Fine. This table you have to remember. Part F, you have to specify the characteristics, the features of the different type of pollutants in terms of concentration, in terms of mass, volume, etc. Then part G comprises of impact of pollution control measures taken. What are the measures they have taken? Okay, because an EMS is implemented in a company, what are the action they have taken? Then from the part H, you can see that additional measurement investment proposed from the top management. So what are the additional investment or project which is proposed for minimizing the environmental impact? For Amazon company, we can say they used, they have replaced entire the plastic cover with paper-based cover. Also, you might have seen the advertisement of Mama's Earth. Mama's Earth, one of the baby products. They are actually one of the company which they are serving the baby products. Every purchasing, they are planting, they are doing some plantation because they have used some plastic bottles, no, to compensate that they are actually doing the plantation. You might have seen a lot of advertisement. Mama's Earth, just check it up. Similarly, part I, miscellaneous, any other aspects related to environmental protection, that also you can add. So after reading this, definitely we'll come to know some important information related to the Form 5. These are the things which are included in Form 5. If you explain with the table, then brief explanation, that is 100% is sufficient to get out of marks. 8 out of 8 you will get. So still 3 more questions are pending. Let me continue in the coming session. Stay tuned. This is the way how to answer it. I think you got an idea how to answer the questions. Okay, like that you can plan very well. And especially this kind of management subject, you are expected to write some examples, whichever I told few examples I suggested. No, like this, whatever comes to your mind, no, that you can validate, you can present in your answer book. Okay, like that you can go ahead. Definitely you can get a good score. So stay tuned. I'll be coming up with the third part of the video soon. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great learning. Thank you.